This really sucks, dude. We're in San Diego for, what, 4 hours?
Nothing in San Diego sucks.
No, only getting to be here for 4 hours.
Sure, but it's better than not being in San Diego for 4 hours.
While Aaron's mind might be California dreaming, I'm thinking ahead to the big Barrett-Jackson coming up. It's the new one on the East Coast, and it's gonna get a lot of eyeballs on it. So I've got my eye open for the right car to build, take to the auction, and make a big splash and a ton of cash. I'm hoping this is the one. This is a 72 Pantera. What caught my eye on it is that it was white with white wheels.
That's pretty cool. It's kind of a Miami Vice feel to it.
You just also don't see very many white cars.
I don't think that I've ever seen a white Pantera.
Looks like that under the cover. This one actually found me. The lady who had it sent me some pictures, and her husband owned the Pantera for a really long time, and he's since passed away, and it's time for her to sell her husband's old car. Hey, Sandy. We spoke on the phone. I'm Richard Rawlings.
Yes, hi, gentlemen. I'm Sandy. I am Sandy Saska. I am the owner of the 1972 Ford Pantera. Since 1975, since we've lived in this house, I've been never able to park any of my cars in the garage.
Very cool.
So I thought, what great opportunity to get the car sold. I'd be able to park my car in the garage.
You know how many owners it had before you guys? Or?
I think just one before.
Killer. Really nice car. So did you guys drive it, you know, a whole lot or just every once in a while?
We take it out on the weekends, you know, a couple times during the week.
Little what we call whiskey dent in Texas.
Yeah, something happened there.
One of the coolest things about the Pantera is it's something that's kind of missing from the Ford lineup is when they didn't have a supercar. So when these cars were built, and this one in 72, this was an exciting car. It still is.
If you wanted to buy a supercar in the early 70s, but you didn't want to break the bank, you couldn't do better than a De Tomaso Pantera. It had a lot of standard features that were just options on the Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and powered it all with a 5.8-liter Ford 351. And that meant you couldn't just afford the car, you could also afford the mechanic. Killer. They're not super hard to find, but people tend to hold on to them. It's a lot of cool and a lot of hot rod for the money. They're neat cars, and we've had a lot of them float through the shop. I don't know, probably a dozen. And for whatever reasons, things just never got lined up right to hot rod a Pantera. This one could change all that. It looks like it's in great shape. Well, you think it'll start?
Yes, let's start this up.
With some ease, too.
You take it for a ride?
Absolutely.
Jump in, Aaron. Let's go around the block. We're back in a little while.
All righty.
Maybe.
Enjoy. My heart is racing.
Feels tight.
Yeah.
It's not all rattly.
It feels good. It sounds good. I think this definitely runs a little better than the last few we've had.
I think it runs better than anyone we've had. Whoa! The tires are definitely old. Because that thing...
Damn good little car.
It is, man.
I always love Panteras, not because of what they are, but what they could be. So every time we buy one, I always think maybe it's the time we build one. A dozen or so Panteras later, the time is now. We need to hot rod this one.
I gotta agree with Aaron. This Pantera could be built into a car that bidders just go crazy for at Barrett-Jackson. Plus, starting with a solid car, the build should go that much faster. You just have to get it at the right price. Super cool. If we get this thing under 30 grand, golden. All right, under 30, under 30.
We started the negotiations for the car. Naturally, I had my price in mind.
What do you want for it?
Let's start at 37.
I knew you were gonna say something like that. She started at 37 grand, which is on the high end of what this car might be worth if a few things were fixed. I'm thinking more like 25 grand.
Richard came back down with a very low 25,000. No, let's do a little bit better than that, please.
I've had a lot of these cars, so 27.5.
The garage space is important to me, but I think we can do a little bit better than that, please.
If I step up much more than that, it'll be the most I've ever paid for a stock one. But she wanted her garage space. She wanted to be able to park in the garage for the first time since 1975. I'll throw another grand at it because then when I pay the money to get it to Dallas, I'll be in it at 30 grand, which is pushing the envelope for these cars. So 28.5.
That sounds fabulous.
Excellent.
Thank you.
I get a Pantera and you get garage space.
I certainly do. This is exciting.
That's a decent deal for Gas Monkey. I didn't exactly, you know, run off with the best deal in the world, but get it back to Dallas and see what we can turn it into.
If y'all are ready, let's do it. Let's do it.
gonna get my toolbox. I'm gonna get my toolbox. I think this is one of the best cars we've had in to build. And so I'm pretty happy we're gonna get into it. You know, the one thing I don't know about Panteras, I don't know if the engine comes out the top or if it comes out the bottom. Does anyone have any idea?
I have no idea.
Does anyone have a book?
Rack it and find out. So we get this lid off here.
So we've had a bunch of junky Panteras, and the more we've had, the more my curiosity grew. You know what I can do with one of these?
Wow. God, these wheels don't weigh anything, man.
This 72 is in fine shape. It's a good, solid platform to start with, and so this is the time to find out if curiosity can kill this cat.
Hey, look, it comes with tools.
I've always had a soft spot for these things.
There she is.
Mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, and not to mention 1972. This is pretty freaking wild.
Hey.
The EcoBoost swap into the Pantera has never been done before. How difficult will it be? Well, I don't know yet, because to build something truly unique, you have to blaze new trails, and sometimes that means answering questions that haven't been asked yet.
We've got a big jigsaw puzzle, and one big problem is we don't have an EcoBoost here.
Muscling the cable off?
John and I were looking around, and they kind of seem available, but not really sure. Possibility we may have to yank one out of a pickup to get the twin-turbo 3.5.
Oh, and they just hit you flush. You really need to go back to painting.
Bedtime, dude.
The 3.5-liter EcoBoost will be lighter, which means the car could be faster, which means it's going to turn harder, stop harder. Pretty cool.
Mike? Hey, would you give me a 9/16 wrench out of the top drawer?
Oh, you asshole.
Really, Mike?
Holy crap, that's a lot of wrenches. Ooh!
This didn't take long.
Getting the motor out might be a little interesting.
Yeah, looks like it. So I've been doing some digging around. Found a guy that has one for sale, and he's willing to come down to the shop and let us take a look at it at least.
If he'll come by today, tell him get in the truck and head on.
All right, I'll call him right now.
Thanks.
The good news is John found a 3.5 EcoBoost motor. The bad news is that it's in a 2013 long bed F-150. But if that's the quickest way to get our paws on it and start modifying it, well, then so be it.
I'm just trying to figure out how to get this out of here without fucking something up.
I wouldn't mind throwing a strap on the back to balance it.
So like it? That's so awesome to pull the motor out of the wrong end of the car.